The Irish are God's gift to the world, but they only had one nemesis, snakes. Why, I don't know, but our boy Paddy figured it out. And now Irish people are everywhere, including in our movies. Here's 5 movies to make you feel more Irish.
The Luck of the Irish, a new Disney Channel original movie.
Yes, I'm a 90s baby. Couldn't you tell by the fact that I'm screaming into a camera in my bedroom? I don't even like basketball, but I like this movie. Irish people love 2 things: reminding you how lucky they are and being violently competitive, or just violent. I have a hard time calling this movie Irish cinema. I'm sure Martin Scorsese is somewhere having a brain hemorrhage because I'm saying that, but this movie does exemplify something very interesting about the Irish people: their underdog mentality. They've been, throughout the history of Europe, one of the most oppressed people, like going back to the Druids and how they were oppressed by the Roman Empire and how they were oppressed by the British. Like, all of those things kind of tap into a shared mentality of this people group. Luck of the Irish is definitely the most family-friendly movie on this list, and I think it's one of the funniest.
Do you want to be in a video for my band?
See, if you're in a band, sing me a song.
Take on me.
Number 2 is Sing Street. Rock and roll music hit Ireland in the 80s, just like crack cocaine hit America in the 80s. A lot of things happened in the 80s.
You'd play every instrument known to mankind.
Probably.
Show 'em.
There's something about it resonated super honestly and heavily with the Irish people. The story revolves around a struggling middle-class Irish family where the youngest son now has to go to a different school. Trying to impress a girl that he sees on the side of the street, he asks her to model in his non-existent band's music video, proving that every Irish guy just wants to play music to impress a girl, which I kind of get. This movie really explores creativity and innovation, how the players in the band didn't want to be nostalgic for anything. They wanted to push forward into new music, new sounds. The film also deals with poverty and religious implications of music and pop culture against the status quo. These kids are rebelling, they're trying to do something new, and they're trying new things, and the way that they're exposed to those new things is through the television. Really the first generation of Irish people to have a wide variety of choices when it came to culture. The heart of this film, though, is the relationship between the 2 brothers. The older brother, a stoner, burnout, college dropout, has kind of lost his motivation for life. So he turns to his brother and teaches him everything that he knows about music and encourages him to get out, make something of himself. The Irish people have always been known for creativity and music and culture, and I just love that this movie represents it in such an honest way. Now, I always got to have like some sort of artsy movie on this list, and this is it. This movie by Kenneth Branagh looks like dynamite. I was actually born in Belfast. That is the most interesting thing about me, and I will move on from it now. But the cinematography, the blocking, the framing, everything looks like an oil painting. And it's shot in such a unique way and such a different way from any other movie that I've seen tackling this subject matter. Belfast focuses on a small family, a young boy specifically, growing up during the Troubles, which started in the late 60s and early 70s. It's very much like a slice of life where the kid goes to school, the neighborhood is barricaded, tanks roll in, militias move in. Like, it was a very tumultuous time in Ireland's history that this movie captures in a very interesting way. The performances are poignant and well thought out. It's well written. You can understand everybody, which I appreciate. And again, it tackles that subject of people leaving Ireland for better opportunity elsewhere. And ultimately gives a little background to the eventual social persecution that Irish people suffered in England specifically. There's a shot in this movie that's like a Michael Bay dolly shot, but it is so well done. But it's so impactful because of this perspective of the story. I love how the cinematography uses the kid's perspective to view things. Everything is on big, wide lenses, and the conversations from the parents are filmed in a way that they feel like they're so important because of how a child would see it. And ultimately, this is autobiographical to some extent from Kenneth Branagh's own experience growing up in Belfast. Truly an awesome film.
They exited out the front door. They had no idea what they were in for. There was a firefight!
Now we go from like an Oscar contender to schlock contender with the Boondock Saints. This movie is ridiculous in the best way. It is totally a I had to put this on here, one, because I worked with Sean on Nefarious, which you should check out the video down below where I interviewed the cinematographer of Nefarious. But also, this is like an Irish guy's wet dream of killing bad people in the name of the Catholic Church. Troy Duffy, the director and writer of Boondock Saints, had a very Irish way of getting the film made. He got a deal with Miramax and Harvey Weinstein.
Yikes. I could use a distraction right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr.
So he gets this deal, he moves out to LA to go make this movie, and basically Miramax just kind of loses faith in the project. So he spends the next 7 years trying to get the film made and finally did. And while it didn't get its money back at the box office, it was a massive hit on home video. And it legitimized for a lot of studios for the early 2000s, artsy, edgy, off-the-cuff, weird movies that could make their money back on DVD sales. Unfortunately, that's a whole portion of the industry that just doesn't exist anymore because of streaming. And thereby, studios don't have that back-end assurances that a movie could make its money back to take a risk on something like the Boondock Saints. It really was kind of one of the last movies to exist on home video and get that great word of mouth, and people would go find it and seek it out. It made like 20 times its budget on home video alone, and that is just such an outlier. It's not because it's a good film, like it's a fun film. If you're looking for a movie to watch at 11 p.m. at night on St. Patrick's Day after you had a lot of brewskis and you just want to laugh but feel Irish at the same time, this is that movie.
What the f is this piece of shit?
Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I need it, and it'll give you good luck. It's like a 4-leaf clover. Want to give a couple of honorable mentions. Basically any movie that takes place in Chicago or Boston. The Departed, Mystic River, The Fugitive. One note on The Fugitive, Harrison Ford wasn't actually supposed to walk into the parade. They didn't even get clearances, but they just joined the plumbers union in the road and just filmed him walking around. And no one really reacted because they were like, yeah, it's the parade, no big deal. But they totally weren't supposed to be filming during that. Also, can you imagine how wild it is to be a fish in the Chicago River on St. Patrick's Day?
Now, if I've done something to you, just tell me what I've done to you.
But you didn't do anything to me. I just don't like you no more.
You liked me yesterday.
Number 1, Banshees of Inisherin. Colin Firth and Brendan Gleeson play two friends who are no longer talking to each other. The film, while being hilarious in its own right, does tackle heavier topics like the meaning of life, the purpose of art, conversation after conversation about how to change in a place that never changes, how to grow in a place that never grows. You're kind of stuck on this island, literally watching the world tear itself apart outside. How do you respond to that? That's what this film kind of explores. One thing that also I'm just like constantly blown away by is the quality of actors that come out of Ireland. You've got like Liam Neeson, Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, Barry Keoghan, Cillian Murphy, all these guys that are unbelievable actors and actresses. I think their culture kind of works in favor of being a great artist because you have that underdog mentality, you work really hard to get it, and you are proud of what you can accomplish. But if you want to really be an Irish person, go make a friend today. I don't know how to end this.